Okay, welcome back for some extra. Before we get started talking about what we were covering on the main news programme, I'd just like to welcome Wendy-Jane and Steve from the Sounds Beautiful Festival. Welcome. I have just made a slight error here, which I will sort out in 1 second. But I'll put it on anyway while I do this. Welcome to the programme.
Sounds Beautiful is, it's doing really well. Well, our lineup is pretty much all sorted. Obviously, we've got you guys coming as well, which will be, again, you came last year and it went really, really well. So we're really happy to have you guys to come back. And I believe you're going to be doing a live show, are you?
Oh, I mean, this is all up for discussion at this point. Charles, what are your thoughts? Are we doing a live show?
Surprise, I think we're doing a live show.
This is our commitment to the live show. Yeah, no, the live show went really well last year. Just to sort of set the background for those that are unfamiliar, Sounds Beautiful, which we went to UKCOLUMN obviously last year, was an absolutely beautiful event, and it was, obviously we were very lucky with the weather, but it was really well put together, and from a UKCOLUMN point of view, sort of, I suppose, as feedback to you guys, which obviously we did give at the time, it just worked really well because we had a stand there, which meant that we had lots of people coming up to us during the festival itself, and we had a really nice sort of relaxed environment to talk to people and to go around a lot of the other stalls and get to know people. So a great sort of community building exercise. But then having that ability in the bigger tent to do a live performance, which we did, it was in the context of a news program, which we did then put out on the Monday. But it worked really, really well, and there was that sense of engagement with obviously a lot of people that were familiar with us, but also some that weren't. So yeah, we would love to go back and do the same thing again this year, and I hope you will really look forward to you telling us a bit more about what's going to happen. But yes, I think this can be our commitment to doing more or less the same things we did last year.
We had a lot of fun. I remember coming into your marquee, into your info tent, and doing an interview with you and sitting and having a cup of tea. It was just great because when do you get the opportunity to nationally connect? There's so many fractions all over the country of us, all over the place, and then we get to see you on the screen, but to get to meet you in person, I think it was lovely. It just makes the experience so much more human, and all the connections that were made last year have been forged over the year and are going to expand this year because so many people from last year are coming back. The feedback we got from the punters last year was they had such an amazing, amazing time. And they're really looking forward to coming back and connecting. So it's about creating this national family, because that's what we need. We talk all the time and it's great. We love what you do. You're such an essential part of what's happening in the world at the moment. And we need these voices of truth. But we also need these real human connections in real time. And it's the perfect opportunity for people to do that. And we're actually going one step further this year with creating connection. We've recognised, I just love this. We recognise that there are a lot of lonely hearts out there all over the country, people who are like-minded but maybe don't have an opportunity. The pool for people to date and connect with other people of like-minded views is so small, and people struggle, and loneliness is a disease. So we're creating a dating workshop, which I'm really excited about this year. It may sound fickle, but it's actually quite important. People need this. We need this chance to. And nobody wants to do dating apps. We don't want that. We want to meet people in person. No pressure, no preconceived ideas. Just a really unpressured, beautifully natural space to say, hey, I'm looking for connection, and what better place to do it? Because you know that you're going to be meeting the people that you're interested in. So that's just one of the added things from last year that we're promoting.
Brilliant. So who's going to be there, and just tell everybody where it is, what the dates are, and when they can where they can go to get information.
So it's the same location as last year, which is Gaunt's Estate, which is a lovely estate, 15 acres of land. We've actually got 3 stages this year. We've got the big main stage, which is a stage from where does it normally go?
Boomtown.
Yeah, it's a massive stage. So we've got that one. We've got a stage in the bar this year. We're actually running our own bar, so we're putting a stage in there for solo artists and stuff. And then we've got the comedy and speakers tent, which is where you guys were last year. The tent itself, we're changing. It's going to be a bit bigger, and the stage is going to be a bit bigger because you guys were pretty much off the stage because there was quite a few of you on there.
Oh, we had a DJ equipment, didn't we? Which you had to negotiate, which meant that you were sitting quite forward on the stage. But we're dedicating that whole talk tent stage to talks this year, so no DJs in there. So you get much more room to move around and be on the stage this time.
But we've got a comedy workshop as well, which is going to be going on in that tent. And that's going to be with Aidan Killian
and Craig Campbell. They are two massive names on the comedy scene. Aidan, probably people will be familiar with because he's done Jam for Freedom and various festivals. I think he's been to Hope Sussex. Craig, maybe not so familiar because he's Canadian, but he's now settled in the country. Great comedian. So please come and catch them and join in and participate. It's all about participation this year. Yeah. We don't want people to just sit and watch. We want them to get stuck in and actually get involved in what's happening.
And are numbers restricted this year like last year?
Yeah, so numbers are restricted, yeah. It's the same as last year. We're only on a 10s license at the moment. We're hoping that the year after we can then expand a bit bigger. But it's also at the same time, it's always negotiations with the landowner as well at the same time. So yeah, but I mean, this year is still the lower numbers of 500 punters.
And credit where credit's due. The landowner was so happy with us last year because it was such a peaceful, non-violent, not far-right kind of gathering. You know, that the media sort of portrayed us as, but it was actually incredibly peaceful and incredibly no major issues all festival. You know, we couldn't have asked for more pleasant and really wonderful people to share that weekend with, and because of that we can run it again, which is great.
Yeah. We were classed as, do you remember we were classed as the Truthers Glastonbury? I think
the Times
did it. Yeah. No, had to leave Paradise and so forth.
They tried to knock us. It was supposed to be like one of those reviews that was supposed to sort of expose us and make us look stupid, but unwittingly they just advertise us to the whole of the UK. Yeah. And anyone that understands what we're about and really knows that what we're about will respond to that. So we're not worried that they tried to portray us as something that we're not. I'm sure you get that all the time.
Yeah, when they have the guts. Yeah, so just let everybody know where they can find out details.
Yeah, so you can go to the website soundsbeautiful.uk. Tickets are on there. All the links are on there. And as we're able to use your platform to show who we are again, we will be offering a 10% discount on the tickets. So if you go to the ticket link, there is a code that you can put in there as UKCOLUMN, and that will give your client base 10% off for their tickets as well, for the adult tickets.
Till the end of the first week of April. Yeah. So to think about April the 6th, and it's UKCOLUMN, all capitals, all one word. So if you put that code in, you can get 10% off your adult tickets till the 6th of April. So we really appreciate what you do and having us on here. And I just want to take this opportunity, if it's okay, to say there's a lot of confusion around. I just really do want to say, because we've had a few emails recently from people. Steve and I have made no money from last year. We want to make that absolutely clear. We didn't get paid. We paid everyone else. We didn't get paid. We were actually in a slight deficit, not very much, but we had to make up that deficit. So, and any profit that we do, and we keep on doing it because we're in the hopes that we will make profit. And that profit will go into a trust towards our community, which will be towards buying land, funding community projects. We're looking for sponsors. So if there's anybody out there with high net worth that wants to sponsor families that maybe can't afford to come, then please do get in touch, because that's something we'd like to offer, because we do recognise that everyone's really poor at the moment, the state of the economy and all that. So we want to make sure that people can come that want to come, but at the same time we have to cover our costs. So we're putting that out there as well.
Yeah, well done. Charles, any final comments?
Yeah, I think a couple. I mean, the article you referred to was written by a guy called Tom Ball for the Times, and I totally agree with you. I think it was a spectacular backfire for so many reasons, and he has form because he was the same bloke that tried to expose what Katie Jo and Sadie are doing with the Hope project with regard to home education, and he is absolutely desperate to cast everybody that he comes across as being, like you say, a far-right nutcase who is a danger to society. But of course, he was totally unable to find any evidence to substantiate his prejudice. And I think he looked silly, but I would say he looked silly for two other reasons as well. First of all, why was he not just grown up enough to say that he came from the Times newspaper and he was turning up at the event to see what it was all about? And people would have spoken to him. So he was immediately putting up a barrier that shouldn't need to be there, which I regarded as being very childish and counterproductive, obviously intentional, because it meant that he could then, sort of sell the lie that he was treated like an outsider. And then the second thing was that he only managed, what was it, either a day or 2 days. I mean, if he cannot tolerate the Dorset countryside in full sun in June for 3 days, then that tells you all you need to know about mainstream journalism. It was a pathetic display of failure to appreciate what was going on around him. So, yeah, I think that was part of it. Then also going back to the dating thing, it's really interesting. This actually refers back, I think, to the welfare report that Mike did in the news, because it's very easy for people of a certain age to forget how lucky we are to have avoided growing up in an age where either everything is expected to be done online, or you were unfortunate enough to be in the process of trying to form meaningful relationships when society got shut down in 2020. And I think it's very easy for people to forget how difficult it is to re-emerge from that, and how much it must have traumatized people who were shut out of everybody else's lives, and sort of how do you come back from that? And this whole thing of meeting people in person, I mean, it is absurd that we do talk about it as though it's a rare commodity, but unfortunately that's how it's become. So yeah, I mean, I really applaud you doing it. I think it's a really good idea, because the virtual stuff, the online stuff, it's not real, and those are not real people. You do need to meet face to face. So I think anybody that catches wind of that and wants to come for that reason as well, fantastic. And with your man from the Times, Tom Ball, I do hope he'll summon the courage to come down again and actually tell us who he is.